Hello guys, what is good? I hope the lighting isn't like fucking terrible. I'm trying not to blast myself with like my light source, so bear with me. I have not done a ranking in such a long time and I feel like this is freaking perfect because I'm about to rank some horror movies. Obviously this isn't gonna be all of the horror movies I've ever seen. This is only part one. I'm probably gonna do like freaking 5 million parts on my channel if you want me to. Let's get into these tier lists. Also, by the way, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. What are you waiting for? Within this tier maker, we have trash, absolute dog shit. Then we have who the fuck made this? This is probably like, I don't know who this is or I've never seen this before, but I would still be interested in that. Maybe I should add in still interested though. Still interested though. So that's like, I don't know this movie, or I know it, but I haven't gotten around to watching it. Then we have I wouldn't watch it again. Simply put, I would not watch it again. Really good, self-explanatory as well. Then we have shifted time and space. These are almost masterful, but not as masterful, you know, like they shifted something in the air. They started a shift, a cultural reset, if you will. And then we have masterful, obviously grade A, amazing, show-stopping, beautiful, never been done before, everything under the stars, everything under the hat. So that's what that is. So let's get started. We have Candyman. Candyman is going in really good. It depends though. The original Candyman never really like caught my attention. It was never something that I would watch again. The only reason that it's in really good is because I went to see the new Candyman, the 2021 Candyman, and the only good parts about the 2021 Candyman was the fact that they kept referencing things from the original Candyman, the 1994, 5? Probably completely wrong on that, but the 1990s original Candyman, that was the only good part of it. So I'm gonna put it in really good. Children of the Corn. Now, some people might say that little children aren't scary. Actually, a lot of people would say that little children are scary, actually. A whole crew, a whole gang of kids, first of all, killing their parents. Savagery, some absolute savagery. Killing their parents to have a society of their own in which they are the sole leaders. That took a lot of organization and prep. It did, it's true. For such young minds to be so intelligent, you know, I can't put it anywhere else other than shifted time and space. I don't think a lot of people would agree with me on that. Maybe people would. I honestly don't know what like the general opinion is on Children of the Corn. All I know is that Stephen King doesn't really like any of his book to movie adaptations. But yeah, I really enjoyed Children of the Corn. I think I watched it for the first time 2 or 3 years ago, and I enjoyed it. Oh my gosh, Frozen. Frozen is one of those movies that you wake up in the middle of the night in the cold sweat and that's the movie that's playing. If you're watching some random channel, this is the movie that's playing and you only get bits and glimpses of the movie, but for some reason you keep on watching because it's so intriguing and you catch it in like the middle of the showing and you're just like, this is amazing. And there's something just so interesting about how they kept the audience involved and invested with one location. I always love that. Literally the entire thing is in, I always call it a swing set. So that is going in, I'm not sure whether I want to put it in really good or shifted time and space because I don't think I've ever actively sat down and been like, hey, I want to watch Frozen. Not the animated one, at least. I definitely sit down and say, hey, I want to watch Frozen. Maybe sometimes even Frozen 2 if we're feeling spicy, you know. I'm gonna put it in first and really good and then I'll see how I feel. Jennifer's Body. This is something I would like. This is a movie that I think I would like to say had the Twilight effect, the Twilight renaissance effect, if that makes sense. A whole bunch of men despised it because they thought they were getting into something that really turned out to be a feminist eating males movie, and they hated it. And a lot of men hated this. People started trashing it. People don't get it. People didn't get that it was camp. Same thing that they keep on doing with Twilight. And now for some strange reason, it's risen up again and people love it. It's so aesthetic. It's obviously Megan Fox. So I would put this in Shifted Time and Space, because this is really like a cultural thing. This is a cultural reset thing. And if you don't think so, then there's something wrong with you, because everyone knows that Jennifer's body really shifted, I feel like, the comedy horror genre for a long time. Mama. I think I've seen this movie once and I laughed. I was like, what? How old was I? I think I was like around like 10, 11, 12 when I first watched Mama. Maybe I'm wrong. I honestly don't know. I'm gonna put it in wouldn't watch again. I did not care for it, if I'm being completely honest. Or honestly, I'm gonna put it in trash. I need to stop being so nice. Nosferatu, just because of how iconic it is, I'm gonna put it in Shifted Time and Space. I know, you're like, Nia, you've watched Nosferatu willingly? I had to watch it for class. I'm in film school, so, but it wasn't bad. Did it keep me entertained the entire time? No. How many acts is it? Like 4 acts? Or no, 5 acts, I think, of silent movie. Don't get me wrong. I like me some silent movie. I love Charles Chaplin, okay? I can watch me some Charles dancing around the screen doing some nonsense, okay? That shit is funny. I can watch some Looney Tunes, some silent Looney Tunes. However, Nosferatu, for some reason, it wasn't hitting the spot for me. Obviously, number one, it wasn't scary. I appreciate what it did for the culture. I appreciate, the whole using negatives thing to add a new element of like distortion and otherworldliness. I get that, but it's not my favorite. Obviously, I don't think it's anyone's favorite. And honestly, if this is your favorite horror movie ever and you're living in this time and you're not over the age of 60, you're a pretentious little fucker, aren't you? So yeah, I'm putting it in Shifted Time and Space because it changed a lot for the horror genre, but it's not my personal favorite. Psycho! Psycho is probably one of my favorite horror movies. I love how I'm just like, if you pick this movie, you're a pretentious little fucker. And then I put Psycho in Masterful. I absolutely adore Psycho. I think it's one of the only movies beyond 70s and beyond and later and earlier, 70s and earlier, that actually scared me. And I love the whole Hitchcock explanation that he does at the end, just explaining like the psychology behind Bates and his mother and his life. And I just love those kind of like explaining things at the end. And it also just kept me at the edge of my seat, and it also really started the main character getting killed off in the first, not few minutes, but in the first half of the movie, which we're not used to seeing. And I feel like we credit Scream a lot for doing that, but I feel like Psycho, maybe Wes Craven got some inspiration from Alfred Hitchcock and was like, that shit's dope. I just think Psycho is such a great story, and it's so odd because at points it makes you root for the villain, it makes you root for Bates, and the horror is coming from sometimes Bates getting caught. You're like, oh my god, like he better sink that car faster so that the cops don't catch him or the feds don't catch him. Other times you're scared for the main characters because you're like, oh my god, Bates's mom is coming. And the big reveal got me. It shook me to the core. I think I watched it, 3 years ago. I watched Psycho for the first time 3 years ago, and the big reveal shook me to the core. I was not expecting it. Maybe I just wasn't using my analytical skills because it seemed to be pretty obvious to everyone else around me. But yeah, I just think Psycho is such a great movie. It's such a great piece. Now we have Scream 2. So Scream is one of my all-time favorite horror, it sounds like I'm saying whore, but Scream is probably my favorite actually horror franchise. I just love Scream. I would say Scream 2 though would land itself in really good. It's not my favorite, but I do love the whole stereotypical college sorority slasher movie. So for that, I would give it really good. I would put it first in really good just because it's almost shifted in time and space, but it's not that good to me. But yeah, I really enjoyed that movie, and I like the different setting. I love when they switch killers every movie. Suspiria is going in, I'm gonna put it before Candyman, really good. Visually, Suspiria outranks probably every movie on this tier, if I'm being honest. I am a sucker for candy-colored films. I love Grand Budapest Hotel. I just love anything with very vibrant and intense colors, especially in horror movies. I think that's such an amazing choice, and it gets me in the mood, and it really makes me feel like I am not on this dimension. For that, I would say that in that aspect, I would say Suspiria is masterful in terms of color, cinematography, all that. In terms of actual story, girl, let's not kid ourselves. If you tell me that you are that interested in her in that damn ballet studio school with some random thing chasing her, I'm sorry. You do you, I guess, but like, girl, I was not that interested in it. The only interesting and like kind of scary-ish part, I would honestly call Suspiria like more of a thriller, if we're being honest. I think the only part that scared me was when she was locked in that room, that closet room, and the thing, I guess, was like gonna come at her. Story-wise, if we're talking about the movie as a whole, it's not my favorite, but it still is really good, and I do recommend it. The Boy. I feel like there should be a tier under this. Should I make another tier? I'm gonna make it 3 dots. Crickets. We have a new tier here. Everyone applaud. It's crickets. Lights out for them. The Boy. I always make jokes about The Boy. If you know me, you know I just be making jokes about The Boy. Also, shout out to my Fear Street movie commentary. Go watch that because I made a joke about The Boy. The Boy, it's crickets for The Boy. It's really crickets for him. I'm sorry. I also wouldn't watch it again, but at the same time, when that man-child came out of the walls, yes, I did get jump scared. Okay, I'm not one to actively out loud scream at a jump scare, but I will do a little now and again. You know, the suspense was fine, but there were just some stupid decisions. I know every main character makes like a stupid decision in these types of movies, but I was just like, I love the aesthetic though. I love dark academia aesthetics like that, but this one was just not it. And the fact that the parents had the audacity to go and kill themselves in the ocean, knowing damn well that the ninny was gonna die in that thing, and have to either die or have to take care of the boy Brahms for the rest of her life. Like, they're really trifling ass bitches for that. They really let that little boy get out of hand. How do you let that little boy get out of hand? The Craft.
Some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but it must be said.
I have not seen The Craft. Moving on. What the fuck is The Mist? Never seen it. The Purge. The first Purge. Not the first Purge, but The Purge, the one that came first. I think this movie is honestly so iconic. I think Purge election year is my favorite. And that's also like, I think top 10 on my horror movie list, my favorite horror movies list. But I think there's something about the Purge that came out first, like the first Purge, that really shifted something in society. Like, I feel like, you know, now every person wants to be the Purge for Halloween. We have like Purge masks, we have like, you know, Purge songs, theme songs that people play at clubs. Like, I feel like that was such a cultural moment, number one, in shifted time and space. And I like that, you know, it was enclosed in one space with one family They are a rich white family, and I'm glad that they stray away from that in the later films and we get to see how the purge affect real people. Not that these people aren't real, but people in less fortunate circumstances. But I feel like this movie did such a great job at building suspense, and it was something so new. I don't even know if I can categorize it as a slasher film, but there's just something about the purge that got everybody. Everyone got the purge. I'm gonna put Zombieland. I don't think I can really rank this in a horror movie tier list. I would say I don't want to put it in shifted time and space because, again, it's too happy, I guess, to be a horror movie. But at the same time, I'm gonna just put it in really good. I'm gonna put it in really good after Scream 2. Coraline. I love Coraline. Coraline is probably one of my favorite movies, period. If this didn't scare you as a child, and if it still doesn't creep you out now, you need to be dealt with. You must be dealt with. Absolutely not. Coraline shifted time and space. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put Coraline in Masterful. Yes, the fuck I did. Yeah, who is going to stop me? Are you going to throw hands with me? I don't think Coraline should have even been able to be shown to kids. I think I was 7 or 8 when Coraline came out, because this came out in 2009. I think I was 7 or 8. 7, about to be turning 8. I watched this shit for the first time. I was scared shitless. I was absolutely scared shitless, and I said I want to watch that shit again. Coraline and Monster House. Is Monster House on this tier list? No, Monster House is not on this tier list, but if it was, Monster House would have been put in shifted time and space. Alien. This is a really unpopular opinion. This is a very unpopular opinion. I'm preparing to get crucified. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm sorry. I am not a sci-fi fan. I probably never will be a sci-fi fan. The mixture with horror made me think that maybe I would enjoy sci-fi. I mean, I know I like Stranger Things, but Stranger Things is like, she's on Earth, you know? And I know I like Marvel movies, but Guardians of the Galaxy is the exception, you know? Something about Alien just really wasn't clicking for me, and I loved the whole final girl moment. She was a boss bitch, she really was, but it was nothing special to me. It was nothing that scared me, besides like the iconic like chest poppy thing. Type up your reasons for why Alien is the best horror film of all time, but for me, she's just not doing it. I don't care how iconic it was. I don't care. It's just not clicking for me. Now we have A Quiet Place. I think I'm gonna rank A Quiet Place, the first one, in shifted time and space. I really enjoyed how they played with sound in this movie and how they, you know, sometimes put us in the mindset of the deaf child. Yeah, I just really enjoy whenever there's a movie that plays with sound and there's a deaf character involved and they really get the audience in that headspace. I just love horror movies that play with one of your 5 senses. I thought that was really cool and something different that we hadn't really seen before. That was my horror movie ranking. I am going to be posting a part 2 later on. If you have any horror movies that you want me to do a movie commentary on or do a review on, let me know down in the comments, and also let me know your top 3 favorite horror movies or your top 3 favorite horror movie genre. I'm not going to reveal my favorite horror movies until you guys see the part 2. For me, my favorite genre of horror movies are number 1, slasher films. I love slasher films. I love me a good young adult slasher film. And number 2, psychological horror movies. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and I will see you guys with another movie commentary next week. Peace.